Hello, thank you for tuning in. I've just listened to a call on the line, the edition that went out on the 3rd of January 2024. And I found it interesting because it's not often that somebody calls in uh, to present a new reason or new evidence for their belief in the existence of God. In this case, Ari, the caller, claims to be an atheist, and it's his father. He's impressed with his father's reason for believing in God. His father has got some kind of scientific background, an engineer. I can't quite recall, but yeah. So his reason for believing in God is that water has a unique property in that, unlike other materials, it expands when it's frozen. So we can't listen to the whole call, but we're going to pick up with maybe 6 or 7 minutes to go, and we'll see how Matt responds to this claim. Let's go.
In the world.
Well, if there was a God who created the universe, why on earth would why in the universe would he need to create a universe with a specific set of rules that everything follows, and then make one item follow those rules but give the appearance of being slightly different? Why not just create life in the ocean in such a way that it doesn't require water to behave differently, except that water doesn't behave differently. It follows the exact same rules of physics. Yeah, none of this makes any sense to me of how this is evidence for a God.
Well, you're assuming a God who created everything. I think to me, it's ridiculous that there'd be a God who cared about life, who created all these planets, and we've only found life on one planet so far.
We've only been
there could be a God with limited powers or limited,
I'm not assuming a God. I'm not assuming a God that created everything. I find it preposterous to say that everything existed and some God came in and tinkered with water. I find that to be beyond ridiculous. It doesn't explain the origin of the universe or anything else. It doesn't. What kind of limited God are we talking about here that makes water freeze and enlarge and doesn't create anything?
I think we also have to remember in most of our daily life, we don't want water to freeze most of the time. Like, we want the water in us to stay liquid. We don't want it to freeze, and then expand, because that would be very harmful for our tissues. I don't know.
The callers seem to be making the case that somehow, if water did not expand when it freezes, it would sink in the liquid form of water, and this would somehow make life on the planet impossible. I don't know what the consequences of frozen water sinking would be if that was the case. Of course, I suppose that sea levels would rise. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys out there could actually comment on that, but it might not necessarily be the case. In any case, it's not unique. I did have a quick look on Wikipedia, and there are other materials which expand when frozen. Not many, granted, it's something like 6, and I think some of them are metals. So it's not completely unique. But it reminds me of when I first went into a chemistry lab at school. We were showed, I can't remember what the element was, potassium maybe or something, that when you put it on water, it reacts in a fairly unique way. And it may well be that there are other materials or elements that react in the same way and start fizzing off. And I suppose you could turn around and say, well, there must be a God because this element or this material reacts with water in this particular way, in a way that no others do. It doesn't really seem to be relevant. It seems to be pointing to the fine-tuning argument that if gravity were not exactly as it is, the life would not be possible. And if water didn't have that property that it expands when frozen, life also wouldn't be possible. I'm not too sure about that claim because I haven't really looked into it, but let's listen to some more. It doesn't sound very impressive so far.
And the same is true for most organisms on the planet.
But if it didn't float, we'd have solid bodies of water. And I mean, I don't know if that's the latest evolutionary theory, but I know originally they thought all life.
Yeah, well, we do have solid bodies of water because obviously ice is solid and it's a body of water, but the only difference is I suppose if it contracted like other materials when cold or frozen, I guess it would sink.
Out of the ocean.
Well, yeah, but
I'm not
it
sure
wasn't
they
frozen
still
or
think that,
anything.
but
It wasn't frozen or anything. So I'm not really sure where the connection with ice comes in.
What's that frozen water
well, there was
floating
ice
in?
ages that would have wiped out all of life in the ocean. If the ice sank to the bottom, it would have froze everything, killed everything.
What's that water? What's that frozen water floating in?
Yeah, so he's saying that in the Ice Age, if all the ice sank to the bottom of the ocean, it would have wiped out all life. Okay, well, there's a claim. I'm not sure.
What's the frozen water float? You mean like a lake or ocean?
The frozen water.
I suppose one of the things he could be saying is that the landscape that we've got with all the valleys, we know that a lot of it was created by expanding ice during the Ice Age. So the landscape would obviously be very different.
What's it floating in?
Right.
What is it floating
in? A lake or in water.
It's floating in water. It's floating
Right.
in water. It's all water, just at different temperatures and different states. And now, why is it? I don't know. I don't know what to say. There's nothing about this that remotely points to a God or why a God would do this. And then when you start talking about a God that just decided to tinker, okay.
This is amazing to think that this man has got a father, and he sat down with his father at some time and said, "Dad, why do you believe in God?" And he says, "Well, because water expands when it's frozen, unlike virtually all other materials. And unless it did expand and have that property, we wouldn't now have life on Earth as we know it. Therefore, there must have been a God who engineered the compound water in that way, such that it would expand and enable life."
Cool.
And he was impressed with this so much that as an atheist, he decided to call in and test this out on Matt.
I mean, I don't think you'll ever get any better scientific evidence for God. So,
oh, there won't be any better scientific evidence for God. Well, I know some creationists and intelligent design proponents who would disagree with you.
I don't know how you know that, but if that's the best
because
we've got,
you've been asking for 30 years, and humanity's been looking for hundreds,
thousands, tens of thousands, perhaps in some cases. But
yeah,
to call in and say, here's the best evidence we got so far, and it is absolutely zero evidence of a God. Okay, cool. I guess I've got job security.
Well, if I've been reading some popular physics books, and I understand that in particle physics, if certain particles did not behave in a particular way, then we wouldn't have the universe as we know it. There would be no life. So I would have thought that would be kind of more impressive than that water expands when it freezes.
All right,
you probably do. I'll keep listening to you because I really enjoy your show. So
thanks, man. Check you later.
Okay, well, that's it really. Quite a good call there. Just amusing. I thought you might enjoy that. So look forward to your comments. Bye for now.